Look at section 12.2, formal commands, or commands that use usted or ustedes. So as you learned in Lección 11, the command forms are used to give orders or advice. And the formal commands are used with people you would address with usted or ustedes, whereas the two commands which we previously learned are reserved for people you would address with tú. So from that information alone, you can understand that an usted command can be a bit kinder of a thing to give to someone versus a tú command. If I told you tú, it would kind of assume we have a very informal relationship. Whereas if I used an usted command, it would assume that we have a bit more formal relationship and can often be seen as more courteous. And ustedes commands are only ever used when you're speaking to a group of people. Like oftentimes a professor to their class might speak to them in ustedes commands to let them know you all do this thing. Let's look at a few examples. Por ejemplo, hable con ellos, Don Francisco, o coman frutas y verduras, o laven los platos ahora mismo, beban menos té y café. Like, talk with them, Don Francisco, or eat fruits and vegetables. Wash the dishes right now. Drink less tea and coffee. So with formal commands, for usted and ustedes, you follow a similar path with the negative tú commands. You essentially take the present tense of the yo form, take off the o, and add the opposite ending for usted, and an opposite ending and an in for ustedes. So usted and ustedes commands, like the negative tú commands, as I said, are formed by dropping the final o from the yo form of the present tense. For AR verbs, add e or en, and for ER and IR verbs, add a or an. For example, Don Diego, quédese a cenar con nosotros. No se preocupen, yo los ayudo. Verbs with irregular yo forms maintain the same irregularity in their formal commands. For example, conducir would be conduzca, conocer, conozca, decir, diga, hacer, haga. Ofrecer, ofrezca, oír, oiga, poner, ponga, salir, salga, tener, tenga, traducir, traduzca, traer, traiga, venir, venga, and ver, vea. Por ejemplo, oiga, Don Manolo, listen, Don Manolo, or salga inmediatamente, leave immediately. Ponga la mesa, por favor, set the table, please. O haga la cama antes de salir, make the bed before leaving. As I said before, using the notion of usted commands has a bit more of a courteousness to it. For example, if you were talking to someone and wanted to be a bit more respectful, instead of saying pon la mesa, por favor, like to tú, you might say ponga la mesa, por favor. And it's a bit more common that that person might say yes to the usted command, and they might be more inclined to say no to a negative, or rather to a tú command, just because of the difference in respect that's sort of seen between tú and usted. To note also that verbs maintain their stem changes in usted and ustedes commands. For example, ir a no pierda la llave, o cierren la puerta, o to you, vuelva temprano, joven, duerman bien, chicos, and also y to I, sirva la sopa, por favor, o repitan las frases. Also, verbs ending in cargar zar have a spelling change in the command forms, given that they use the yo form of a verb. For example, on car verbs like sacar, the C changes to a QU. Saque, saquen. If not, we wouldn't really maintain the sound. It would sound like sase or sasen. We want to keep the same hard k from the infinitive. Same thing happens with jugar. It changes from a G to a GU. Juegue or jueguen instead of juegue or juegen, which wouldn't really sound much like jugar. We also have ZR verbs, and the Z changes to a C. Almuerce, almuercen. And we also have a few irregular formal commands. For dar, the usted command is de, or ustedes command den. Estar, esté, or estén. Ir is vaya, or vayan. Saber, sepa, sepan. And ser, sea, sean. So to make a formal command negative, you simply place a no before the verb. No ponga las maletas en la cama. Or it could be, if we were to say it positive, ponga las maletas en la cama, no? Or no ponga las maletas en la cama. No ensucien los sillones. Don't get the chairs dirty. In affirmative commands, reflexive, indirect, and direct objects, rather pronouns, are always attached to the end of a verb and in the exact order of rid, no reflexive, indirect, and indirect. Por ejemplo, from the verb sentarse, which means to sit down, siéntense por favor. Sit yourselves down, please. Or sígame Laura, like follow me, Laura. Acuéstense ahora, like go to bed right now. Or go to sleep, I suppose. Pónganlas en el suelo, por favor. Put them on the floor, please. So do know when a pronoun is attached to an affirmative command that has two or more syllables, an accent is added to maintain the original stress. Por ejemplo, limpie, because it ends in a vowel, we know the original natural stress is here. If you add some syllable, you want to keep the stressed syllable at lim. Because if you notice on this word, because it also ends in a vowel, without that accent mark, it would fall here. Limpielo, which doesn't really sound much like limpie, no? Limpielo. Or dígamelo. Ends in a vowel, second to last syllable is where the natural stress is. Lean, leanlo. Sacudan, sacudanlos. Also words that end in and in s as well have a natural stress on the second to last syllable. Leanlo, or sacudanlo. In negative commands, these pronouns always precede the verb. In negative commands, you cannot attach them, right? No se preocupe, don't worry. Or no me lo dé, don't give it to me. No los ensucien, don't dirty them. Or no nos las traigan, don't bring them to us. And lastly, usted and ustedes, the words themselves, can be used with the command forms to strike a more formal tone. In such instances, they tend to follow the command form. Por ejemplo, muéstrele usted la foto a su amigo. Show the photo to your friend. O tomen ustedes esa mesa. Take this table. And you repeat this, as they said, the usted for an usted command, or the ustedes for an ustedes command, just to try to show more deference in a way, or show more respect, I suppose. It can be seen as a bit more formal or perhaps more polite to some degree.